So, as I'm back in England for, the whole thing is like 2 weeks. But like I'm in my last week now, which is sad to say, because I feel like time is now going so fast. And I am doing lots, that's the thing. But I've been reading lots. And a couple of weeks ago before I came back to England, Mum was like, "Oh, I found some of your old childhood books." I was like, "No." She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, I haven't read them since I've been back, but they bring back such good memories. I was like, I have to read. I have to read them. I have to show them, because it is. So I've got all three of them here. I had more growing up, but these are like three of the books I grew up with, kind of thing. So this is one of the first ones. This was weird showing my kid books, like my not baby books, but books I had when I was a kid. And this is when I lost my first tooth, because in here there's a little message from my tooth fairy. It was Mum, because I recognised the writing. So I know it was Mum that wrote it. And then I just always remember reading these books and loving how pretty the sea fairies were, because I was like, oh my god, they're so pretty. And it's like this lovely like not leather bound, but like it's bound really nicely, and it's such a cute little book. And I was like, when Mum found it, I was like, ah. So yeah. And then another one was this one, which is like, I think both my sister and I had this, but definitely I had it. And it's like all these books of stories about fairies. I think I really loved fairies growing up, and this was my favourite story, because it's like a collection, and it's the seahorse and the Kelpie King, because the little seahorse gets like trapped by these monsters, and the fairies have to just rescue him. And the Kelpie King used to really scare me, because he looked like this, and there was the fairy queen. They rescue him eventually. It's very sweet, it's very cute. And I just always remember reading this and having my parents read it to me, so I was like, I have to show this. And obviously the long hair kind of things, and it's all these like kid stories, but it's just so cute to look back on, because I have so many fond memories of just reading this and having it read to me. The Shoemaker stories, and like I remember them very vividly. And this is the story I always remember the most, is the seahorse and the Kelpie King, because that's the one I always wanted my parents to read me, because like I live by the beach, so I imagined like seahorses and Kelpie Kings, and yeah, so that was my two fairy books. They were precious to me. And then this was the last precious book to me, and you can kind of see how much it's worn and torn. It's like losing, it's a bit torn at the edges and torn here. And this was the love of my life, this book. I used to try and read this every time in one night, and I can do that easily now, because it's only like, it's 90 pages. But I love this book so much. So I did horse riding for about 14 years. So I loved horses growing up. And this story, if you've never read it, even if you're an adult, you can see kind of how torn it is. It's like kind of falling apart at the base. It has like really pretty pictures in. And this is like the best one, because it's the horses at the end. And it's about this tale of this farm girl, getting a rocking horse from a junk shop, and she looks after this rocking horse in the barn, and then at night the horse came alive, and she called it Bella. And there's a whole story around Bella. I think it was Bella. It is Bella. I remember that after 20 years or so. And I used to always wanted a rocking horse. I was like, maybe I'll turn it to Bella. And this is Bella. And the descriptions of Bella were so beautiful. And spoiling the story, it's a very old story, so spoilers, I guess. Spoilers. No, there wasn't spoilers for these, the Kelpie King book, because I kind of just showed you the story. spoilers for this, Bella leaves, like, and Irina hates the idea of, she hates that Bella left, and she sees Bella as her own and not a wild horse, of which Bella was. And there's a whole story behind the rocking horse and Bella. And the man in the junk shop that sold the rocking horse to Irina, it tells her more about Bella and tells her everything and tells her, no, a wild horse is a wild horse, it's not your horse, along those lines. And eventually kind of Irina struggles to let go, and Bella comes back only for a brief moment to drop off a foal. And this foal has, I think, wire wrapped around her legs, and so she wouldn't survive. She's very young, and the dad kind of urges Irina to look after her because she wouldn't survive. And so in the end, 100% spoilers, Irina and the new foal go horse riding, and they see Bella and the wild horses, and Irina says, if you wish to leave, you can leave. So it's like partially a story of kind of letting go and like allowing life to happen and knowing you can't keep everything, but at the same time it's just a really nice book. Oh, I loved this growing up. It's a kid's book, but I loved this. I used to like happily read it in one night. If I couldn't sleep, I'd read this book. It was just a comfort book. I've read it so many times, and I kind of want to read it again. So these were my three were more childhood books. Like I had a princess book collection and everything, but these three books, I think they made up most of my childhood. So there you go, childhood me adored these books to the end of the earth and back. So I mean, let me know the kind of childhood books you read and what ones bring back memories for you, and what nostalgic books you remember and why, because I think it's nice to kind of look back at what we've read. I don't know, maybe. But let me know what you've been reading and let me know your childhood books, and well, talk to you soon, I guess. Enjoy reading.